Hello, it is Monday, and I got the camera going. Yay! It is going okay considering that it's Monday. What's really good, best thing, is that it's been raining. We were moving from moderate to severe drought conditions here, and finally, yesterday afternoon, Hi, Fallen K. Yes, there's sort of an intro thing that starts at more or less 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. So what I was saying is that we've got some rain, and it started yesterday. We had a thunderstorm, so there was a little almost downpoury sort of thing, and now it's still raining. So it's kind of a chilly, damp day, but that's exactly what we needed. Thanks for joining in too. I'm going to be a little incoherent today, it seems, because that's just how Monday starts. And there wasn't any coffee brewed yet this morning, so I'm just drinking water, and we'll see how that goes. No kidding. We had, I think, like a quarter of an inch of rain over the last month. I don't think I'm exaggerating very much. It's really been very, very dry. So thankful for that. Last Friday, who and old Brogger talked me into trying something that turned out, I think, to be a tragic mistake. I'm doing these dragonkin. So this is like the bronze dragon, nice and shiny. I think that came out pretty well. And this one, you'd probably never guess it, but it is a blue dragonkin. Okay. And then the red one was coming up next, and they said, well, why don't you do the armor in pink? And I was like, no, that would be silly. And they just kept at it. And then I painted the base coat of the armor in pink, and I just can't do it. No, what I can do, what I am going to do though, is I'm going to repaint this in red. Okay, this red actually, and I will use pink as the highlight color, like I did on the armor of the other two. All around the edges of the armor. So there will be some pink on it, but these are dragonkin, and that got silly. But the real reason I need to change the armor color is I did a little paint test here, and I'm going to use the speed paint like I did on the blue one for the red, and that's the color red, which is a very nice red, dragonkin red. And this is the color I was started to use there for the trim, and they're indistinguishable. So there's that issue. No, I'm going to look at my reds here. A lot of my reds have oranges in them. Hi-hoo. I will do a flip, and I'm going to disappoint you and not paint this guy red, pink. I'm going to use it for pink trim, but it is not working. So this is kind of the flat red I was looking at, and this is dark vermilion, but there's this other red, and I was thinking of not using it because it's really pretty dark. It's the scarlet red color. I know you like pink, but you'll get pink trim. I promise that. So this red is really close to what the skin color would look like, but this dark scarlet red I think it's dark enough. I don't think it'll be too dark. I think it'll look okay on the armor. And then if I do the pink highlighting, it will contrast okay with the speed paint color that I'm going to use on the skin. So then I've got a couple of other red options for this guy's done, so I could take it. Try not to break it, taking it off of the sticky tack. Well, stuck. Wow. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to use those colors. And then I've got a couple of other red colors I can use for the bags that these guys carry. I've got a really dark kind of blackish red that I'm going to use as the same thing as that. And then I think I'll use like the vermilion red or something like that for the other bag and the belt. But I'm going to rebase coat the armor, and that's just the way it'll have to be. So let me see if I can pull it out right away. That's pretty good. This paint has settled a bit, so I'm going to have to give it a good stirring. At some point, probably not today, I have to... No, but they, you know, they hold the thing on there, and these handles are really pretty good. Anyway, wow. Definitely needed caffeine this morning, and I didn't get any. So, there are some problems with these last 3 dragonkin. One is they have to do with the sword, which turns out to be fragile, as you can see here. The guard on the hilt is broken off on the bottom. I've got one here where the sword didn't print at all. So at some point I'm going to deliberately break off the bottom of the guard and glue it on here. The other problem is, see this really nice hilt? Okay. Is on one of these I was trimming off a little mold flaw and broke the hilt off. And then I picked up the last one and discovered that it has neither a hilt nor a guard. Fortunately, the one that didn't print the sword has an extra guard piece, so I can use it there. But I'm going to have to fabricate some hilts. So I have this toothpick that I'm going to use, not today, but some other time. I have to finish early today. I'm going to be cutting out like around 1:20 or so. I've got a 2 o'clock appointment that I have to go to, and so I'll be ending a little bit early today. See how far we can get. Basically, I have to start over here with this guy and paint a new base coat on the armor. Oh, the flip. Okay, I should do the flip. This is my color test. So one side has a red blot on it, and the other side has a different shape of a red blot. Oh, it's soaked right through. Okay. And it didn't fall all the way to the floor. That was pretty good. Yeah, landed at the soaked through side. Yeah, it always landing that way each time. Okay. This time it landed this way. Paper doesn't flip very well. If I wadded this out like this, then it flips pretty well. Okay. Can't really tell how it lands. But, you know, it flips and rolls. So. Yeah, so I keep stirring this up. I I should have spent the weekend thinking of things to ramble about, to mutter and ramble on about, and I didn't. I didn't think about this at all, really. I did think about Submarine Wednesday. I'm actually going to be painting things on the submarine on Submarine Wednesday. I got some priming done on all sorts of little pieces for the control room, and I did some more experimentation with the fit, about how the pieces fit together, because as you recall, on Wednesday I spent a lot of time trying to get them even to fit into the base. Well, it turns out that there's these periscopes and radio antenna that come all the way down from the top of the sail, the conning tower, the sail, that are supposed to fit into tubes that fit into the base of the control room. Well, it turns out there's two issues. One is that the tubes don't fit between the two floors. They're too long. Not only are they too long, there's three of them, and they're all three different lengths. I don't know what they did. Maybe what they did was they were thinking of molding these things to different lengths so you could cut them to fit. That seems kind of silly, but yeah, they don't fit, and as a result of that, I need to trim them down. Three different places. Yeah, these are rosin printed instead of PLA printed, and it's a stiffer compound, and it is pretty fragile. To take these off, as you know, I can't see close up with those glasses on. So, I have to say goodbye to the pink here. And look to the scarlet red. Although the pink will come back as a trim. You can actually see there, that's how it's going to kind of look. Okay. But, yeah, so when we get to Submarine Wednesday, I'm going to not be dealing with that issue. That's going to require a lot of manipulation to get all of that to fit. I'll have to decide whether that's something I want to do on the stream or not, because it's not going to be painting, definitely, but it's going to be measuring and sanding and filing and remeasuring, and which might be kind of interesting for a model maker. It would be an interesting thing trying to salvage, I'm calling it that, trying to get those pieces to fit. So I'll have to decide how I'm going to do that. I'm not sure yet. Not really. Yeah, most of them are printed in rosin. I'm not the one who does the printing, so I'm not familiar with what the material is exactly that was used for these minis, but I know that I need to be careful if I'm filing it or sanding it or using an X-Acto knife to trim it, because I've had little bits break before. There's a red dragonkin, and the other dragonkin will be very happy with this color, I think, as the armor color compared to what it was when it was pink. Although, you know, the pink, it was worth trying. It was worth, you know, just giving it a go to see how it would look, and it just didn't turn out that well. But the pink trim on it, you know, all the trimming on the armor, like the lighter blue on this, I think will come out okay. This dark red, this dark scarlet red, I think will look good for the armor. Friday, when it was pink, I tried to start painting some of the trim, and just failed. It was just a horrible mess. So I'm hoping today, after this dries and I try again, that I have a little more success. I'm not quite sure what happened. Well, it was late. You know, it was in the last half hour of the stream, and I was just kind of fading, I guess. It wasn't that I wasn't attempting to focus. It's just what I was finding is I describe it as my hand is steady, but my aim is off. You know, so my hand wasn't shaking, which it could sometimes do. You wouldn't be surprised. Look at that. I wonder how that happens with the brush. The bristles just decide that they're going to go. They lose their coherence. I can paint this, you know, up my head magnifiers, but when it comes time to start painting the trim on the armor, I'm going to have to put those on. You can't really see that up close that well without them. So for now, you get to see me without those. Get to see the top of my head a lot on the stream, I think. Just as I'm bending over trying to get these things painted. So putting the new color on, but you can see how how that's going to look with the pink trim. And I think that'll be pretty decent. I complained about this with the other ones. This has a different kind of collar than the other ones. It's kind of a raised collar. It goes around the neck. I'm going to just paint that pink too. You don't need to add more colors than necessary, I think. It's weird as I'm painting this. When I painted the pink, it didn't seem to be as much of it, but this is armor surface area here, and there's a lot of trim. Now, if I didn't paint the edges of the thing in the back, as I've been painting these, you can see I haven't really done any trim in the back other than these two little tabs there on the belt. Can't even read the large print version anymore. Yeah. I paint more than I play. That's because I do 3 of these streams a week. So it's like 12 hours of streaming minus the break that I try to take. But we do a D&D campaign. Let me talk about that. It'll give you something to talk about. Dice and Dungeons actually is not a painting group. Dice and Dungeons is a D&D playing group. And we do our campaign on live stream with a live chat, at least on 3 Sundays a month, 2 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And I play Ulseth Ralph, a Furbog fighter. But the campaign sessions usually only last about 3 to 4 hours. And so who is correct in that I paint more than I play, only in the sense that I paint generally when I'm doing this 12 hours a week, and I only play 4 hours a week. So yeah, I paint more than I play, but yes, I do play in the D&D campaign. I actually have 2 characters now. Also, Ralph is the Furbog fighter, who is also kind of the tank. So I get to stand out in front of everything and get beat up while everybody else stands back and casts magic or shoots arrows or something. So I get to do the melee stuff. But I had a pet otter. And Zoria Ansul, our changeling druid, got a spell that was able to make Ardamore sentient. So Ardamore now is a character, and not just a pet, which is pretty cool. And Ardamore doesn't appear very often. There aren't too many opportunities for an otter to participate right now, especially if we're doing like a dungeon crawl kind of thing, or a sewer crawl, which is kind of what we're getting into. The Ardamore had to be left behind. Yeah. So that's about what our sessions run. We have Nines, Tabaxi Bard, who is one of our most effective in combat, actually, because of crowd control. Tasha's hideous laughter and some sort of insult thing. Vicious mockery. Those have turned out to be essential to keeping our party alive. Wow, that brush just spreads apart. All of my brushes are losing their bristle coherence. A 9-hour session. Actually, that sounds... I'm sure you stop for for meals and breaks and things, but that's a big, long session. It's nice to be able to do that, though. Part of the length of the session turned out, because we stream it, that there's a history behind that. We started out just doing a campaign and then decided to stream it, because why not? Why not stream your D&D campaign, especially if it's a pretty cool party and it's a lot of fun. I think to listen to it, you should check it out on Good Pizza Breaks. Yeah, you should check it out on YouTube, some of the other episodes. If you haven't, it's really, we are a light-hearted party for the most part, unless the DM is trying to kill us, in which case we get a little bit surly. But I'm just looking at this and I'm seeing parts that I missed. That's what I need to do is rotate this in many directions here too, because I usually miss things. So when we started streaming it, we were just finding that if anybody was watching it, that a 3 to 4 hour session usually was about the best. And our session's actually been tending more toward the 3-hour range rather than the 4-hour range lately, just because of that. But yes, I do play. Actually, I've been playing since about 1975 or 76. I've told the story a couple of times, so I'll just do a real short version of it. When we were in graduate school in Madison, Wisconsin in mid-1970s, I actually worked on the camera crew of a group of people who played D&D and showed it on the cable access channel. Cable had just sort of started up, and one requirement is that each cable company had to provide a community access channel and a little bit of a studio, kind of. And I was involved in what was then cable casting, D&D campaign back in 1975 and 1976, and then also played the game. Actually, when you get to be my age, I've done almost everything longer than most people have lived. I guess that's, I don't know, it's just kind of a weird thing. But yes, I have. And so I really enjoy the game. Ulseth Ralph is kind of a fun character. My favorite character was a dwarf ghost pirate bard. And when my character, and I can't remember the character's name, which is really sad, but I remember playing the character. When the character entered, he didn't know he was a ghost, and so was very disturbed because the rum just puddled down, all around on the floor and the seat and stuff. And he didn't really know what was going on. But that was a fun character to play, and he was a spoken word bard, kind of, better than William Shatner anyway, I think, sort of. Yeah, he had a very limited repertoire. Trying to remember, I'm thinking, I think it was his repertoire surprisingly was television themes from the 1960s. So the sea shanty was the Gilligan's Island thing, and then sang one about a horse that could talk. Yeah, well, spoken worded anyway. About a poor family who moved to Beverly Hills after they discovered oil, so that was it. That's all the pirate bard could do, was spoken word, sing spoken word. 1960s television theme songs. Television shows and cartoons. As a pirate, didn't sing them straight, so. Yar, it war a 3-hour tour. 3 hours. But hey, the weather, it started to getting rough, and the mighty ship it were tossed. That kind of thing. Most of the other players didn't really like it, but anyway, it was fun. Yeah, just a cameo, a dwarf ghost pirate bard cameo. Yeah, that would be kind of fun to do. I would only want to do it for a little while. Yes, the sub I am working on is older than most of our audience as well. The sub that I'm working on isn't as old as me, but it is an original mid-1960s vintage Renwall cutaway visible submarine. The kit is a true vintage, and I'm just letting this dry here. And it is a kit that I built when I was in grade school. I think I was like in 7th or 8th grade when I built the original. And I mean the original 1960s version of the submarine. And so when I retired, I bought a whole lot of models, of which I have built one. But I think I'm looking around here. There's probably like 40 of them because I figured I would have nothing to do. And so why not just build models like I did when I was a kid? And I haven't. But we ran out of minifigs and dungeon tiles one time for the stream, and it was, well, why don't you just do one of your old models? And so I did. Help yourself. It's a dwarf ghost pirate bard. And you have to talk like a pirate if you play it. Okay, you can't scrimp on the pirate talkie. It has to be a little exaggerated, and the character has to be ever so slightly baffled by its ghostliness, because it was just ghosted not too terribly long ago, and is just catching on to the advantages and disadvantages of being a ghost. Okay, so there's the dark red armor, which is much more red dragonkin-y. And you can see bits of the pink around it. Okay, that is the trim that I'm going to be trying to paint to look like the trim that came out really quite well on the blue one. And I'm going to see if I can duplicate that look here. Yeah. And so one of the things I kept whining about the detail on these minifigs. They're kind of small and the detail is... Anyway, it's more difficult for me to do the detail than it is, for example, someone who wasn't this old. And so Nicole, who plays Zoria Ansul, the changeling druid, is much better at detailing and shading because she's actually trained as an artist. But then I started working on the submarine, and if you haven't seen Submarine Wednesday, the pieces are... Let's just say that this is huge compared to some of those pieces. There are little chairs that are the size of the pommel of this sword. So it's been a little bit of a challenge working on that. And none of the pieces fit. I have to say that like 4 or 5 times every session, is like, none of this fits. They have flashing mold failures. Anyway, but I'm working on the submarine, and it's making very, very slow but steady progress. Let's see. I'm going to put these on. These are my 2x head magnifiers, and without them, I can't see up close well enough to even have a chance of getting the trim painted. So they go on. My tiniest brush comes out, and I will start to try to get the outlining done. This brush is almost worn out. The bristles are just disappearing. I'd say this is going not too terribly well yet. Not too terribly well this morning. I'm leaving myself many opportunities for improvement as I do the touch-up. This with the red paint again. And most of the touch-up consists of just tiny little dots, but I don't know, the lines aren't clean, they're not even. I would say that was the worst mess out of all the dragonkin I've been working on so far. That was just the worst. I'm almost tempted to let that dry and repaint the whole thing and start over. I have no idea how it got so poorly done. So, yeah, that was just a disaster. Just a disaster. Oh. Let's see if I can get this one not to be a disaster. Well, it's pretty bad, but it's not just a horrible mess. I think this brush it's like failing, I think. Over time, the bristles just they wear out. What seems to be what's happening here is there's not much bristle left. So I'm gonna have to order another one. Yeah, you should come in to Submarine Wednesday if you have a chance. 10 and 2 Wednesday. And I'm just going to be starting to paint some of the parts. But you'll get to see just how tiny some of those things are. And that makes these minifigs look gigantic by comparison. Just because they're larger, though, doesn't mean that they're any easier. And I really think that this brush there's just hardly anything left of it. I don't know how it must be the way I clean them or something. But soon, because I can't. There's no bristle left on here to paint. Every time seriously, this paintbrush is so worn out. It just happened. It just let go. Be a rush order or a replacement for this. And you have another fine pointed brush. It's got really long bristles on it. But this is basically just a blob. Kind of like a blob at the end of the brush. This at all. I'm gonna keep plugging away at this, but my detail brush has given up the ghost. Speaking of ghosts, this one is gone. Okay, I'm gonna have to give this up. And the bristles just are gone. Yes, cleaning it. But you can see there's nothing there anymore. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. Join us for Submarine Wednesday. Have a good day. Okay, we'll use this. I'm gonna try this one. It's got a nice point on it, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, see, the bristles aren't coherent. They would all stick together, that would be fine, but they didn't. And then it leaves an extra little stripe there. And they're very, very soft, and so as soon as they touch the surface, they kind of splay out. Be extremely cautious with it. Just a different technique. Yeah, it split it up. As I was trying to brush. It's weird. Trying to get a little better with this, but it's different than using the other one I'm used to. You have to just barely touch the surface, because if you push down even a little bit, the bristles splay out. This is giving rise to the need for a huge amount of touch-up. One thing I didn't expect today was to have my brush disintegrate. See the bristles, see the little spots all over, and then the bristles pull apart. They would hold to the point. There isn't. There's a rogue bristle. It's sticking out. Sorry about this. Just having issues with equipment today. Resulting in messy, really messy painting, resulting in the need for a lot of touch-up with tools that are not working well. So we'll just see how far we can get without, we'll just see how far we can get. I'm trying to do this pink trim on the red armor, and just the brush that I'm used to using, the bristles gave up. They're just gone. See, it's a much more expensive brush, but it has its own limitations. Like bristles that just everything is a mess. Just everything is a mess, and it's just going to have to be worked on over and over again until it looks okay. There's another rogue bristle. It's just sticking out instead of coming to a nice fine point. There's paint that's just getting everywhere. The only thing I can say is that I'm glad that the scarlet red covers pretty well. Just everywhere I look, everything is a mess. I've got like one line on one thing that isn't awful. Wow. Okay, I'm going to just be plugging away at this a little bit at a time, I guess, to see what else I've got in terms of brushes. I could say for sure that this was good. I'm kind of learning how to use this brush, which is important because it's the brush that has to be used. So I'm just checking to make sure that I got pink where I need to have pink. I have a lot of pink where I don't need to have pink. And that's where I will be doing the touching up with the red. So you could just see that this whole thing is pretty messy. But the only thing that worked was the little triangle here in front. So I'm going to be letting this dry for just a second, and then I'm going to get out the scarlet red and start touching up, and hopefully I can correct it well enough so that I can move on to the bags. But what happened was that I just lost all the bristles on this brush. A couple more of those, I guess. And this is a good one, but the bristles are too long and soft, and they can only go like in one direction. They can't poke very well with it. Anything else? Let me take a look. Cole has this one. It's kind of bent at the tip. Not quite as fine a tip, but again, the bristles are all kind of splayed out. I might try that. This one's really a mess. Yeah, I'm just going to have to, I'm going to have to order a couple more of these. This just, well, as you can see, it's been used and the plastic is coming off of the thing and whatever, but the bristles are gone. Brushes don't seem to last very long. I'm going to use a combination of this, that if the point is coherent, might work pretty well, and what's left of this to try to touch this up well enough so that it's acceptable. I'm not even going for adequately anymore on this one. And it was really sudden. This brush was just fine on Friday. Okay, I'm going to put these magnifiers back on again, and sorry for whining so much, but boy, Monday just started going badly. Because my brush failed. So this brush is okay for touch-up, as long as I'm painting kind of like horizontally across the surface, but it's not going to be good for poking little bits of paint into the corners. Okay, well, that looks a lot better. Perfect, it's better. Okay, let's see if I can salvage. Knee pads. Yeah, not much chattering today, is there? Sorry about that. I am trying to salvage knee pads and other trim. Is it just really off center? It's like it's just in the wrong place. It needs to be, this whole thing needs to be over to the side a little more. Maybe if I do this. Okay. Well, it's getting better. I'm gonna have to get I think it's the way I clean my brushes. I just wear them out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't think I'm doing anything differently than I ever did. But for some reason, the bristles just kind of disappear. I'm going to have to consult with Nicole. Let's see what I can do to better preserve these brushes. I'll have to come back and do a little bit of pink retouch in a few spots here and there, I think. Kind of figuring out how to use this. It would help to have a steadier hand, a little bit steadier, just a little bit, not quite shaking as much. To get the contour of this collar. It's a little bit ambiguous. Okay. Well, this touch-up is arduous with this brush I haven't used before, but it's getting better, not worse, so that's good. Hope the music's playing because I'm not talking, as I am focusing and concentrating on touching up of what had been a horrible mess. Now is turning into not a horrible mess, but just a slightly mess. From an unsightly mess to a slightly mess. The back of this is a little bit tricky because it's not. The border lines are a little ambiguous and the sword is in the way. So for this particular place, this brush is working well because it's got nice long bristles that I could use to reach in. Okay, well, the paint comes up on the tip there, so I need to clean this off without ruining it. I'll follow. I will do a flip pretty soon. I just need to finish the touching up part here. And then I need to do something about brushes. Hopefully I can use this brush with the submarine. Having a really tough time around the collar here. Just getting into the spots where I need to get. Okay, now I'm going to look around and just see how I am doing. Okay. Yeah, the inside of this needs some significant rehabilitation. Glutes are bad. The sight lines are poor. Well, once I got rid of the rogue bristles on this brush, the ones that were kind of sticking out all over the place, it got better. So now, actually, this guy doesn't look too bad. It took a fair amount of corrective action, a lot of corrective action. I think it has moved on to adequateness. Hideous to pretty close to adequate. There's a few spots where I think I should touch up a little bit of pink. Yeah, I'm going to try anyway. But yeah, it's not too bad. Let me, I want to clean this up. Breaking it or destroying the bristles or something. And then put the cover back on. And do a flip profile. These off for a second, and then I'm going to touch up the pink. that's what's happened. Okay, this needs to be recharged. The light isn't very light anymore. It doesn't have a battery in it. It has this tiny, itsy-bitsy little rechargeable battery that requires a special USB port, so I'm going to have to remember to do that. And to do this flip, I flipped this before for Who, so this should work. This is a wad of paper. Mm-hmm. Can't even get a flip. Can't even do flipping very well today. Okay. So, I think I've, to a large extent, salvaged this. I need, there's a little spot. There's still a couple of little spots here I didn't see before. Right at the top of the knee. It depends on the angle, right? It all comes down to the angle in which you're looking. But right up here, which foot? Just enough at the top of these things. This looks a little better. Okay, so we'll do that. Clean off what's left of those bristles. And I need to do a little bit of pink touch-up. And after I do this little bit of pink touch-up, I'm going to take a break early, because I have to leave early, so I'm going to take my break early. There isn't very much. There's just little spots here and there where I'm going to try to very carefully get pink. On what's left of these lights. There's weird spots like along the top, on the top of this bracer here. That should have been painted but never was. Crystals that became incoherent. Sometimes there's tiny little spots that'll just make a line look even when it wasn't before. This pink needs to be a little thinner. I think that's part of the issue with it is it needs a tiny touch of thinner. This is a little too viscous. I think I have salvaged this. This now is looking, it looks okay. It used to be red. I don't. Get to it. It's better now. Okay, I'm not going to play with this anymore. I am going to clean this brush without breaking it, I hope. And then the next things after break, I'm going to work on the bags. And during break, I will pick out the colors for the bags. One color will just be this brightish, kind of bright red, and the other color is going to be black red. And I'm going to use the bright red for the outer bags and the dark red for those, and the belt will probably be this red and yeah, I'll get those done. And I'm going to take the break early, a little bit early. I'll be back right around noon and then go for another, about an hour. And I think what I'll be able to get done is I'll get the bags done and the belt and the I might even be brave enough to do the speed painting. We'll see. Brushes here. And then I need to fix the guard on the sword. I need to do that sooner or later. I might paint the sword like the very end or something, just because. But here we got these, and belt buckle, because it's red. I'm going to use bronze on the belt buckle, and the latches of yeah, this one. Yeah, just these little latches on the pouches and the belt buckle. I think that'll look good. Okay, I'm going to take this quick break. Not quick, but I will be back in about 25 minutes. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Okay, well, we get the camera right. Yay! Back from break. Camera is just disoriented again. I'm just looking at some of the brushes I've got. Got these brushes thinking that they were the detailed brushes that we would need not realizing at the time that yeah, these are way too coarse for almost anything. There's one here. There's a couple here that might work, so I'm going to pull these out. It might be fine enough point for, if the points hold up, it might be fine enough point for what we're doing, but for the most part, I need teeny itsy bitsy little bitty brushes. Okay, okay, so, oh, there, that's red and pink. So I'm going to paint the bags. And as I said, I would be finishing up like around 1:15 or something today, because I have an appointment that I need to go to. And because I need to go to the appointment, I will. And let's see how we can do with this. A little bit of light, the battery's running low. Anyway, just taking a look at what's left of my brushes here. I guess I'll just keep using this one. I'm starting to get used to it. Yeah, as I continue to not be very chatty, the failure of my chattiness is proportional to the challenges being presented by today's painting. Stemming largely from the disintegration of the brush I've been using most. So that won't join in with the rest of the brush. There's a belt under here. Got their attention. supposed to color the color I'm painting these bags. This was the color I was going to paint the armor. But it turns out to be almost the same color as the speed paint that I'll be using for the skin of the dragonkin. And there just wouldn't be enough contrast. So I decided to go with the darker red for the armor. But I'm using this for for some of the bags anyway. It's coming along. We'll have to see how I'm going to make do with whatever I've got here for painting the submarine on Wednesday, because I have become very dependent on that little bitty pointed brush that disintegrated on me today. And I'm not going to be able to use it because it has no bristles left. A little pink touch up there. I'll save that until after I get the other bag painted. The other two bags. Just keep your work surface neat and clean. Keep things out of the way. Don't do what I just did, because then they get knocked over and... Excuse me. So let me go. Usually I try to get onto a rant of some sort during these things, at least once for a little while. I wasn't really coming up with anything, but I've been noticing more and more the disappearance of the O in the way we speak, at least in the States. And what I mean by that is that there are words with O's in them, like to and today and for, okay? But they are now being pronounced without O's. So to has become to. Just listen to folks talk and you'll find out what I'm talking about is that I'm going to the store. When are you going to do that? Today. So the O is giving way to an A. Sometimes a U. So what's that for? What's that for? Becomes, what's that for? For what? But it's especially prevalent with to. To has become to. Very, very much to. I'm not quite sure how or why that happened, but it's not to. So somebody trying to learn English, will start to become very confused, I would think, by the disappearance of two of the O's. going to the store today for some that doesn't have an O in it, because then I wouldn't say the O. I'm just going to complain about that. I think we need to bring the O back. I think we need to go 2 places, not tough places. There's something I've been noticing is just how that has changed. Okay, I managed to do that without being too much of a hideous mess. You need to put a little pink back right there under the belt buckle, though. And there needs to be a tiny touch of this brown. It doesn't want to go on that spot. Okay. Well, this has reached adequately. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to get a tiny dot of pink and do that one bit of touch-up before I forget about it. It's right up in the front, and it's a pretty obvious spot, so I need to take care of it. Easy, all the... What rules? What rules are you talking about? You're talking about D&D? Well, there used to be hardly any rules, like when I was playing it. Back in the day, my goodness. Okay, I tried to touch up a spot. Back in the day, when we played D&D, we only had one die, and that was a D20. Didn't mess around with all these other little numbers and stuff, because we didn't need those other little numbers and things. Everything was just a D20. I don't know why you need all these other rules and things and rolling and stuff. And the only rolling was the combat rolls, because we didn't do any checks or anything, because couldn't do checks. It was a cash economy. And we didn't wear an onion on our belt, even though we probably could have. Okay, well, it doesn't look too bad. We fought, I think all we ever fought were gnolls. More gnolls, and there were like gnolls that we could fight in the battles that we had back in the day when there were like battles. Can't tell if that's just a reflection or a paint flaw. I'm going to call it a paint flaw. There's one down there too. I'm just going to keep putting little dots of paint on here and complain about how little dots of paint need to go to places where they shouldn't have to if I'd done it right in the first place, but I didn't, so there. Okay, well, this one is starting to look okay. I need to do the belt buckle and the little buckles on the pouches, and then I guess I need to we should have onions on our belts again. I don't know, why did that fashion disappear? Was it, and when you wore it, was it just one onion, right? It was more an onion on your belt, just one onion. It wasn't really specific, it wasn't specified where on the belt that onion went, though. Okay, now I have to put little, like tiny little dots of paint, and this brush that no longer exists was perfect for that. No, MOBA works. It doesn't work. MBOA doesn't work. But MOBA works. We could make hats. We can't make them red, right? Can't have red MOBA hats, but we could have, I don't know, what color would be good? Orange? We need a color that nobody else uses for whatever they're going on and on about. Let's think about what color the onion belt thing hats will need to be. Buying the little clasps. And then we'll attempt the belt buckle. Good enough. All right. Now it's getting to be time. Yeah, it's raining. We got rain. It started in the afternoon. We had a nice thunderstorm, like around 5 or 6 or something, and then we had a little blob of a thunderstorm that kicked up that managed to hit us, so we got a second one. And it's been raining pretty steadily overnight and still now, so it's been pretty good rain. We've needed some really good rain. Okay, I'm going to use these two brushes that I haven't really used much at all. For the body wash. Okay. This brush is, anyway, yeah, for the red body wash. We'll see how this goes. So all the gray stuff here, all the gray things, those are gonna, what the heck? Really? The paint wasn't dry, and then it ran, and it's still probably not dry, and so if I try to fix it, it's gonna run some more. The alternative here is, and I'm going to use the alternative, is to make the little buckle thing on the other pouch bigger so that they match. Yeah, I messed that up too. By not being able to see where the tip of the brush was. Head magnifiers are failing me a little bit. Okay, shake well. So this is going to get shaken really well. Onion belts, MOBA. Did he have like little onion nets, little onion harnesses, little onion bags? Wonder how they're attached to the belt. It'd probably be one of those things where you could attach it in many different ways. And those could all be part of the fashion thing stuff that goes with it. Okay. So I managed to do this twice now. We'll see if I can do it a third time, which is to use the speed paints somewhat effectively by getting it on. No, this brush is just terrible. No, I can't use this. The bristles just go every which way. I need to maybe trim it or something. I'm not sure what. But it cannot be used for this purpose. I'm going to use one of these new ones that I haven't used before. Why not? That will be a fine color for the red dragonkin. Everything just needs to go quiet again, because these things just have all sorts of nooks and crannies that are very hard to reach. And this brush, this fine detail brush, is like 4 times bigger than I need it to be. What's happening here? Let me just do the tail. I'm gonna have to switch to a smaller brush probably. But while I've got this one out, I might as well use it for what I can. Yuck. Okay. That was bad. We got trying to get a large brush in a small area. And it just made a mess. Let's see if I can fix that later. It's a really nice brush if you're brushing something the size of a large battleship maybe, but it's not a super detailed brush, that's for sure. We'll set that one there. I'm going to try this one. This has got not a natural point. This is a point on this brush that was created by cutting half of the bristles away to create a point. And it might just work on this because I can, yeah, this is going okay. At least so far. It's almost time for my rant about design versus like execution, but the right word is like manufacturing. These designers come up with all of these amazingly beautiful things that can't be made. Okay. And then they blame the manufacturers, the people who are trying their best to do this thing that can't be done. They blame them if there's a problem because the design didn't take into account what needed to be done to actually make the thing that they were designing. The problem with some of these models is that, you know, they'll get printed on the rosin printer really nicely and all of that, but the thing is they can't be painted because you can't get the brushes to go where the paint needs to go. Now, one thing though is that this will be red. Sometimes in painting these, it's a classic example of can't get there from here. And there's on every one of these, there's always some of that. there is always some of that. You can't get there from here. And all you can kind of hope for is that it looks okay once it's done, that those places are places that can't be seen. I mean, that's part of the reason why you can't get there from here is you can't see it. The other reason is you can see it, but there's too much stuff between here and there. You can't get there from here. There's a little spot under the elbow. Sometimes they're really obvious places that you can get to that just get missed. Okay, what have I got left? A hand and the head. This stuff takes a while to dry, so after I'm done with this, there's probably touch-up that needs to be done in a number of places. Okay. Just imagine that she saw something. Decided to chase a cat. So every once in a while there's just this dog bark. Sometimes for no reason at all. Just that I'm a dog. I bark. I haven't barked at anything for like, I don't know, 20 minutes or something, so I need to bark now. Getting pretty close to being done with this. Speed paint to really do its duty up here on the head. And highlight all the contours of the frills and things. Dabbing it on a little heavily so that the darker pigments settle into the crevices the way they're supposed to. I'm just going to look around, see if there's any spots that have been missed. Not seeing I'm not seeing too many flaws that need a lot of touch-up. There's some spots here and there. You know, where's the question call? Like here, I have to fix that. That's where I got the speed paint all over the side. It's like, do I go back and try to fix this, or if I try that, will it just make it worse? So what I think I'm going to do, let me think of, oh, I thought about it and I'm going to do it. Clean the brushes, hopefully without mangling them. Give those a little alcohol bath later. And speed paint tends to, it gets absorbed into the brush pretty heavily. But when you squeeze out, there's a lot of paint still in it. So I've got some denatured, some isopropyl alcohol, basically. It's rubbing alcohol that does a little bit better job of getting the paint out. Yeah, but you can see I didn't use this brush. I get it out of frame. Just really, seriously, I was doing all that, and then I wandered off. Yeah, aim it this way a little further. There. Sorry about that. I was doing all that speed painting stuff and this, that, and the other thing, and talking about what I was doing, and managed to get off frame because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, what I'm going to do now definitely need to recharge that. I'm going to try to fix the sword. This will be an adventure. I need the tweezers, which are supposed to be right here, and they're not. Why not? Okay. Part of the handle sword there was broken off. Probably not the good stuff, right? Not the important stuff. Just some of it was in frame. Lovely, yay! Some. Monday, what? I'm doing some parts here that just never got done. Like I didn't get all the fingers when I did the hand. Okay. So the part of the sword was broken off, or never, who knows, it's just not there. And I can glue, if I can get one of those to break off cleanly, okay, that's a big if. I can use some contact cement, and I generally use that because it goes fast. I don't want to use epoxy. That takes forever to get on and make it work. And I don't have any super glue. So what I really need are the tweezers, which are supposed to be right here, because that's where I put them all the time. And I'm not using them. There. There's some little brushes. I don't know why these are here. Pen is there. Okay, I know where there are more tweezers. These are all brushes that I've destroyed. Sorry about this. It's like, really? It's always put away. I always put it away when I'm done with it. What a pain. And now it's not there. Be right back. I have like 2 pair of tweezers. Now I've got 1. Okay, so here we go. You ready? This little bit down here. See that handle right there? That is the same as the one that is missing. So if I can succeed in breaking that off, if I were trying to not break it, that would be very easy to break. There we go. Didn't break it off quite cleanly, but some of it's there. You can barely see it. So what I'm going to do is take some contact cement, toothpick, a tiny little dot of this goes onto where it needs to stick on here. And the other tiny dot goes on the end of this. And I actually want it to extend a little bit. I want it to be sticking out, because I want this to be a little longer than it is. Anyway, there might be some on there. And then at least theoretically, I should be able to put those two together and they should stick. Of course, it would help yeah, tweezers are supposed to let you get little tiny things, right? That you can grab, but they don't. It's not grabbing the little tiny thing. The other tweezers had a little point on it, which was nice. Yeah, it's sticking, but it's not sticking to the right spot, and I can't grab it. Okay, this is just being a pain in the butt. I really, really need the good tweezers that I can't find. There they are. Oh, why they? Okay, well, someone used them and put them in the wrong spot. Okay, we'll see if this matters. We'll find out if this makes any difference at all. It is sort of in place. Okay, you can see that it's not exactly right, and I'm not sure that I'm not sure if I can get it moved or not. But at least there's a handle there, and if you're not real close to it, like if you're not right on top of it, you can't tell that it's really messed up. I'm going to try to position it a little better than it is. But I'm not really having much success at it, so I'm going to leave it. Just leave it alone. Call it good. And it's holding just barely. If I put paint on it, hopefully if I put enough paint on it, the paint is an adhesive, it'll actually hold it some. But it's on there, and there wasn't one before, so there's that. So in the past, what I've done, let's see, that the handle is the armor color. No, the handle is the trim color. Pommel and the guard are the armor color. Get the pink. And what I'm doing now is just spreading all this stuff all over the place. See how I managed to not keep my work surface neat here. Did a good job of not keeping it neat. Is I'm going to paint the handle of the sword. The pommel kind of thing. I guess I'll just keep trying to use this. What was my only rant today was what? The disappearance of the T, of the O in our language. We keep saying ta instead of tu, and today instead of today. That's all we got. We did get a little bit of discussion of a ghost pirate bard. . Once Upon a Time was a D&D character that I played. One of my favorites. We got to talk about the destruction of brushes and how I managed to do that. I'm painting now with a semi-destroyed brush. This brush used to have a much bigger point on it, and some time ago I cut out like half the bristles. I just cut them off to make it pointier, and now sort of usable for this sort of thing. But the pink paint definitely needs some thinning. So a lot of the problem I'm having with it is that it's just too viscous, too thick. And it just gums up on the brush, kind of, and doesn't spread. Sticks to the brush and kind of dries on the brush. It doesn't really go where I want it. But since I've got this out, there's some little bits of touch-up that I need to do where the red speed paint got onto the pink a little bit more than I wanted it to. Or you get the pink on the red speed paint. There's always that bit, where you reach over with the brush and you're bringing it up to the work and it just bangs into something else. And it pretty much fixes that. And just give it a quick look, make sure that there's not too many other places like that. Where you squeeze out 10 times more paint than you need because it's just drying up. Top of this to fix the tail. I got the pink on it. Lovely. And then I need the scarlet red out again. Okay, and this is going to be a little delicate. I'm actually going to use this long bristled brush because it's very soft. I'm painting the pommel. And the reason I want it really soft is I'm painting the handle, which is just barely being held on by just barely a little bit of contact cement. Oh my. That was bad. Just to get the brush right across there, I need to get the pink out again. Just the paint touching it has managed to move it and detach it. Right. Okay, so remember I said the paint is an adhesive? It is. And I'm going to attempt to use the paint as adhesive to hold. Attach this. It gets so bendy. What is the bendy bit here? And that's the old contact cement. It just stretched out and turned into a mess. I'm wondering if to put the sword handle on, which was doing okay until I painted it. At least I found the direction in which I need to hold it if I'm going to be able to pull this off. If I can get it on here. course, it's going to stick to the tweezers, right? Not stick to the tweezers. I should just do this with epoxy. There. Don't move. Don't move. Don't dare. Don't you dare even think about moving. That was different. Okay, well, I've got just enough time to paint the sword blade now. Okay. There is one other thing I can do here. I'm going to try this anyway. There's these little stripy things. Okay, what do I usually use? I've been using this chainmail silver. Yeah, I got through one model today, that's it. I didn't even get the base done, because I'm going to have to leave early because I've got this appointment at 2. It was a difficult thing because the brushes stopped working. You know, they fell apart. And I didn't have the, Anyway, yeah. It was not the most productive day. But, well, I can't say that. I mean, look, the red dragonkin is pretty much done. Finding little flaws, just getting them fixed right away. Little spot on its hand that never got painted. Okay, let's try to paint this blade. Let's actually try to get this done. So there is a decision to make now. What color is the next one? What color should we make the next one? We have it's green and black are left. Any thoughts? Try the green one. Okay. Anyway, there's the red dragonkin. What do you think? Not too bad. It turned out not too bad. Mm-hmm. Not, I'll just say not too bad. There we go. That's the official judgment of how this turned out. I managed to put red paint for some reason on the blade because I wasn't thinking. Yeah, I just have to paint the base gray and then try to clean these brushes. But I'm going to not paint the base gray today, largely because I need to do a little cleaning up. I need to clean these brushes before I go, and I do need to leave by like 1:15ish here. Nice clean alcohol here. To attempt to get the paint out of these brushes, even the remnants of this little bitty one. Well then, that was sort of, but not really terribly much, relaxing painting with Dice and Dungeons. I managed to finish this today, except for the base. Started out by repainting the armor. The armor had been pink, like the highlighting is now, and I decided that wasn't a good idea, and painted it scarlet red, the dark red, and then did the trim in pink, and I think that looks all right. And there's enough contrast between the red speed paint that I use for the body of this and the dark red armor that I think that looks okay. And the speed paint did a decent job up there on the head and the scale pattern on the tail and things, as it usually does. I destroyed a brush, one of the brushes that I use a lot, and I can't use it anymore because it's destroyed. If you can see it, I actually sort of repaired the handle. The bottom handle had been broken off and now it's not, so that's there. That's kind of good. Dice and Dungeons is a Dungeons and Dragons group, and we stream 3 Sundays a month at 2 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time with a live chat, and you can catch old episodes, and there are many of them, on YouTube or as a podcast, and we'd really welcome you to do that. And this whole relaxing painting bit was a spin-off of that, in that we started producing dungeon tiles on these 3D printers, one of which is tripping away behind me now. I'm just trying to get the paint out of here. And we did those for the D&D stream. Then they got more and more elaborate, and we started painting them. And our dungeon mistress, Alexis, said, well, if you're going to be painting them, you might as well stream the painting, because that's nothing extra. It's just a camera, and a microphone. And that's in fact what we've got here, is a little ring camera that doesn't always hold in the right place. And we've got a little microphone, a good microphone actually, sitting there. I would set this down carefully so that you can see it, and I'll bring the camera down to it so you can look at it as I continue to clean these brushes. So we started printing our own dungeon tiles and painting them, and they're painted on this stream, and that's why it's relaxing painting with Dice and Dungeons, because sometimes it's actually relaxing, other times it's more like today. If you come back for Submarine Wednesday, you'll probably not have a relaxing time, because I'll be painting tiny little detail that's even more tiny detail than this. It's kind of like the belt buckle kind of detail. as I start to work on the control room of that. For the most part, it's relaxing, and for the most part, it's minifigs and dungeon tiles. And I want to thank everybody who has joined in. If you care to become a follower, that would be very, very welcome. Thank you very much for even considering that. If you can, become a sponsor. If you really, really like to support Dice and Dungeons, you can go to patreon.com/diceanddungeons and become a patron. And when you become a patron, you get all sorts of things like the DM notes from our early sessions and our warm-up exercises that happen when we warm up for our D&D sessions. And there are other really cool perks that are available if you care to do that. And I'm being a little incoherent here as I'm just trying to wrap up. Cap this up before I spill it. Move this before I spill it. And I just need to finish cleaning up here. And then I will be leaving you for today and be back again on Wednesday. So remember, relaxing painting with Dice and Dungeons, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, more or less 10 until more or less 2. Today, less than 2. Eastern Daylight Time. Sometimes I'm coherent and ramble on about things that are kind of interesting. Sometimes I'm not. But there is always something going on of moderate interest, and oftentimes there is even painting. So thanks again for joining in. Sorry I have to leave a little early today, but I will be back for a full session. I believe it will be a full session on Wednesday, 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Thanks for your support. Become a follower, become a sponsor, become a patron, and please consider watching our D&D campaign. Thanks again. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop babbling, and I'm going to push the end stream button. Thank you.